Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Into the Barricade. I'm Saul Goode, and before we get started, I just wanted to share some things with you. Due to some events transpiring in my personal life, I thought I would make sure to reach out and let everyone know that it is okay to not be okay. Your mental health is not an issue, and if you are feeling any sort of depression or suicidal thoughts, we urge you to reach out to the Suicide Prevention Hotline, which you can call or text in the U.S. at 988 or 116-123 in the UK, or you can text 85258 in the UK. The world is a better place with you in it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mayhem Media proudly brings to you its podcast Champions of the World. I am the Last Outlaw Saul Goode, and this is my partner, Hard Pause, the one and only Connor Clarkson. How you doing tonight, Connor?
How's it going, Saul? All good?
All the way from the UK to be with us here tonight. So, where do we begin?
Should we just take it straight from the top?
Let's jump straight from the top. Money in the Bank, brother. What you think? You think they made the right call on that?
See, they made some right calls, but then others were like, you could have done that a lot better. And, how did you see the fact that Damian Priest didn't actually kick out?
I'm almost positive Damian Priest was unconscious. There's a spot right after Zapata pulls back on that three, and that's one of those things. Like, I have no ref experience, so I don't know what the proper protocol is in that situation. I know old school, it's you count the three and adjust later. I don't know current day what the procedure would be there. But if you go back and watch, like when Priest finally does come to, right before he starts doing it, you see him moving his fingers. That's usually what you do when you're waking up, and it's unnatural ring movement. That's usually a giveaway there. Or somebody forgot to hit the entrance music cue there for Drew McIntyre. I'm
Probably,
not sure.
But so if they don't kick out, haven't you technically still got to count to three regardless?
I mean, I would think so, or the jig is up, for lack of a better term. It's if somebody pulls your leg, if there's an interference, if there's no reason to stop counting. My favorite will always be Brian Hebner halfway to the three count and then just grabbing his shoulder for no reason because the dude didn't kick out, like he strained his shoulder. One of the greatest things I ever saw in my life. Like, perfect save. I noticed Earl Hebner a lot. If you watch back in the day, he'll shoot his hand out like he's reaching under the guy to let him know to kick.
Yeah.
Like, as he counts the two and he's coming back down, he'll shoot his other hand out under his shoulder.
But I know Bubba Ray Dudley commented on it on his podcast that the WWE he comes from, that you count to three no matter what.
You count that three, yep.
And it's exactly the same. Like, if you was counting like a 10 count for a last man standing, or if you was just going to go to the count out, you still count that 10 regardless. You still count that three regardless.
Are people going to be talking about this like we talked about Roman Reigns not standing up to break the last man standing match there where he was handcuffed to the ground?
Shit, I forgot. I actually forgot about that because I think
that kind of sums up what I was saying. Like, we seem to have let that one go rather quick. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll let Paul Heyman get away with anything he wants to. That man is. The man could sell ice to an Eskimo. He's something else.
But speaking of Paul Heyman, right, he's 58 years of age. Why is he getting powerbombed through a table?
Why not? Because he's Paul Heyman, man.
That.
Oh, I absolutely saw that. That was he had legitimately didn't sleep for 36 hours or something before that segment to look more disheveled. Like, that's commitment.
Didn't sleep, didn't shave.
Yeah, didn't sleep, didn't shave. Didn't brush his teeth.
Didn't wash his armpits.
Yeah. Comb over looked rough. He went for it, though. And that's what I love about Paul Heyman. Is Paul absolutely dedicates himself, whether it's to a fault or not. When Paul's in it, Paul is in it. And when he's at the top of his game, it's hard to beat. I mean, Paul Heyman cuts promos. I want to go outside and bench press my car. I'm not even lying. That dude can hype a crowd like no one I've ever seen. And he can manipulate emotions.
I mean, if we're talking about Paul Heyman promos, please tell me you remember the ECW one where everyone in the stands was from Raw or SmackDown, and he was literally just straight shoot promo.
Yeah. The only reason you're champion is Triple H doesn't want to work on Tuesdays.
Yep.
No, my favorite was this Hall of Fame induction speech. If you think the spirit of ECW died in a courtroom, then you can suck my fucking dick. Like, you tell him.
Damn.
Dude, Paul. I thought Ron was here. I was in trouble. Paul I can't even. The bloodline story wouldn't be what it is right now if Paul didn't have anything to do with it. He's totally not carrying, but elevating this entire story.
The bloodline storyline has been going on for what, 4 years now?
I don't know. I consider this storyline with the bloodline like a whole new story until Roman comes back, and then they're going to merge the two. I think we're going to get Roman and the Usos, and I don't know, against Solo, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Jacob Fatu. But I've also been reading that Hikuleo is already signed as well, and they're just waiting to debut him. Which, if you guys don't know, Hikuleo is Tama Tonga and Tongaloa's brother, and he is a monster. New Japan, look him up.
Are they going to do that at SummerSlam or?
I don't. I honestly never thought we'd get to see Jacob Fatu in WWE. And I can't believe how slim he is. Because he used to be a husky fella.
A man his size should still not move like that. Do you know what I mean? Jumping onto the top rope and then doing moonsaults.
Yeah. I feel so bad for the ringside paramedic or whoever he kicked in the face off that backdrop. Knocked her smooth out. Opening debut match of your WWE career and you knock out the ringside physician. Damn.
Now that's how you make an introduction.
Yeah. But back to Money in the Bank. Did you think Drew was the, for lack of a better term, obvious winner? Looking at all the participants, did you see them pulling an Otis, quote unquote?
See, I thought there was a lot of people, 80% of the people in that match had an opportunity to win Money in the Bank. But Drew, with everything that's gone on with Rollins, everything that's gone on with Punk, everything that's technically gone on with Priest, it makes sense to have him hold the briefcase.
It does. It does. I honestly thought they were going to go Dark Horse and put it on Carmelo Anthony. Or Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Anthony. Good Lord.
Yeah. But now here's the thing. Where Priest got a new cover of the briefcase, do we see McIntyre have the briefcase, but with the Scottish flag?
Haven't we got a different briefcase every year since the Brock box?
Oh, the Brock boombox. That takes
Dude, the Brock box was
that
great.
what was that, 2017, 2018?
I don't remember the year he wasn't in the Money in the Bank match.
And then just comes out last minute and like, okay, now we're going to turn this into a rave.
I was so mad at that, but then like seeing Brock Lesnar in a hoodie dancing with a boombox was like, okay, this was worth it to see that side of Brock Lesnar.
I think the more he broke character, the more he got paid.
Oh, he had to have, because Brock don't settle on his morals. Don't kill me, Brock. I swear to God, if you're watching this, I apologize. But Brock, he's said on the Stone Cold podcast, he's not a people person. He likes to be left alone. He wants to do his own thing, and he doesn't want to get made out to be a jackass.
Even though he is. Like,
he is too. Oh, absolutely.
He is.
But
like, he lives on what, 12 acres of his own land?
Dude, he has like 20,000 acres on the U.S. and Canada border. He's a dual citizen. Because he hunts like crazy. I swear, every time he has a wrestling match, he goes and buys another few acres. Like, he's got tons of property. It's like the northwest corner of Minnesota into North Dakota and then Canada too. He's got tons of property up there.
See, do we think he's going to return at some point?
I think he's got to, honestly. I mean, people have come back from worse, honestly, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to get into the whole Vince McMahon scandal because I can't say I'm an expert, but I've read a lot and I've watched a lot, and from the emails and things I've seen, there's a lot more to it than is being made out to. Mr. Monroe, good day, sir.
You've missed out the H purely because I'm here. Like,
I think Brock returns at some point, yes, but I don't think it's anytime prior to the Rumble. Like, I think Brock coming out 30 at the Rumble would probably blow the roof off the place, but
yeah. Where even is the Rumble for next year? Has it been released yet, or?
Yeah, I think it's Indianapolis. I think they have the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and a pay-per-view in between because they signed like a three event deal with the city of Indianapolis to host all the WrestleMania access and everything, and they're doing another. I think it's 3 events. I'm pretty sure. If anybody knows,
the Royal Rumble for 2025 is actually going to be the first pay-per-view on Netflix.
See, I wasn't sure if they were going to air pay-per-views, premium live events, whatever we're calling them, on Netflix, or if they were going to be a separate thing. I'm so confused on how this is going to work. Like, what happens to all the stuff on Peacock? Does that just disappear to Netflix? Does Netflix pick it all up, or do they only get what they're airing from there? Is it a long-term deal? Is it a short-term deal?
Like, I think it was like a 5-year deal worth, I think it was like $315 million. And
it's stupid money, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it's Netflix and it's WWE. What do you expect?
You know what's really going to blow my mind? The first Raw on Netflix, when you hear the ring announcer like, "I'm making his way to the ring from Davenport, Iowa, Seth fucking Rollins." Like, wait, what?
I've seen that. I've seen those clips go around a few times.
I think you're right, Jonathan, on that one. That Netflix gets the right to air Raw, but the previous content and reruns and stuff go to Peacock because Netflix isn't in.
They've got the right to air Raw. Have they got the rights for SmackDown yet?
No. SmackDown, I think SmackDown just re-signed with Fox last year, and it was for stupid money.
Damn. More than Netflix, or?
Oh, probably. I mean, them network TV deals are where the money's at, man.
See, that's the thing, though. $315 million for Netflix.
That's, I mean, but when you think about it in the entertainment spectrum, like, that's really not. No, a Netflix subscription is closer to 20 these days here.
See, Netflix has got expensive. Like, I remember, like, when I was
I know.
7 watching Netflix, and the subscription was like $4.99.
Brother, I remember when Netflix sent you DVDs in the mail. I'm old.
Like, you could just go down to the video
Netflix
store.
deal
and
is
pick up,
$5 billion, bro.
In the 90s.
Yeah, the Netflix deal is for $5 billion, not $315 million.
$5 billion. I thought
With a B.
With a B, not with an M.
Yeah.
With a B.
With a B.
Well,
Can you
I'm
imagine?
English. I'm English. All the letters are the same to me.
Yeah, that's true. Except the T's. We threw all those in the harbor. Yeah, British. Anywho, let's move on here. Bloodline. Do you see a bloodline warfare coming? A family tree split.
If I was gonna book it, I'd say that for War Games and have like Reigns, Rock, the Usos versus obviously Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, Tangaloa, Tamatonga, and like do the 4 versus 4 unless they bring 2 more guys in to make it a 5-5.
I think in the long run, Jacob Fatu turns.
Yeah, because he's technically regarded as the new enforcer.
Well, not only that, he's Fatu. Jimmy and Jay are Fatus. Rikishi. It's
Fatu.
all that side of the bloodline versus the other side.
So we might see a biological split. We might see a face and heel split. It's just going to be one of them that we see it when we see it.
Right? I'm excited for it. I want to see him turn Jacob Fatu loose. Like, people thought what Keith Lee could do was impressive for a big... Oh, and that's the downside, is he's not the size he used to be, so it's not going to look quite as impressive. But if you guys haven't seen Jacob Fatu's MLW, good God. That dude was an animal. And the Samoan Werewolf is a badass nickname. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. And I mean, but that's the thing. He's got a lot thinner, and credit to him for it. But here's the thing. People still know him from the size. When he was bigger and still doing shit like that.
Yeah, and the intensity. He's just, that's one of those dudes. Well, I mean, Taku's kid. What are the odds? That's one of them dudes that's just terrifying. It's like, I would consider myself legitimately afraid to run across that dude.
See, if he turns, here's something. Solo versus Jacob.
Bro. Give it to me. Right in the veins. Give me that. That'd be great.
Kind of like do a spin-off of what they was going to do with Reigns versus Rock, but do Solo versus Jacob.
Give me the Gorillas of Destiny versus the Usos. Sweet Jesus, make it happen. Like, we have so much potential for literal fantasy matches here. I still can't get over the basically NXTNA. Like Joe Hendry's picking up victories on NXT. You got NXT, TNA titles on NXT titles on TNA. Like, what the hell is going on here?
See,
AJ Styles in Japan.
That's giving me the vibe of when AEW was merging with New Japan.
I don't. It kind of makes me think the same thing, but if that was the case, why? Well, why would all these dudes be signing exclusive contracts with AEW? Why not get the money while it's there? Because Tony Khan will pay it, as evidenced by.
He'll pay anything. Let's be honest.
I'm over here in a Hangman Page shirt, so I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my AEW too.
You're not wearing a suit this time.
No,
It's weird.
no. I mean,
Weird.
I don't have to hide the hair anymore. I just quit pretending I wasn't bald and embraced it. So now I don't feel the need to wear the suit. And it's hot, bro. It's hot out.
But here's
It's
the thing.
I don't know what you would measure it in crumpets, but it's like I have no idea. It's 90 Fahrenheit. You do the math in Celsius.
Hang on.
I know it's 70 Fahrenheit. You guys think you're dying over there, so.
I mean, I feel I'm dying at the minute. Anyway, I'm rough as anything.
JD, do the calculation. What's 90 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius? 95 in PA today? Gross.
I think 90 is like 30 or like 28, 30, something like that. So
see, that doesn't even make sense. You're just making stuff up.
The point where I'm sat in a garden, just round the corner from the bar, and enjoying my life.
And just sweat to death.
Because let's be honest, anything over 75, we think we can have a barbecue.
Well, I mean, bro, I live in Minnesota. Anything over 0, we have barbecues. There'll be snow on the ground, and we're wearing shorts. We don't care. We're hardy people.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, 90 degrees Fahrenheit is 32.2 degrees Celsius. Well, that doesn't make sense. 2 would go into an even number. You sure that's not 33.3333333?
And he's brought out the eyebrow.
Oh, yeah. No, the eyebrows are still there. Didn't shave them off.
Yet.
No, God. All right, I believe you. One more. Do you think we're going to get Roman versus Rock?
What?
That's the point.
They've built so much up to it from technically this year's WrestleMania, or if you want to call it, so WrestleMania 40, they obviously built it up.
WrestleMania.
Whichever way you want to call it, WrestleMania 40, they built it to a point where we thought it was going to happen, and then it turned into a tag team match. Now, I'm still
wondering if that was by design or by fan revolt.
See, I don't think the tag match was the way to go.
Oh, we absolutely will get to the women's Money in the Bank match. If you guys have not seen it, it is arguably the top 2 best women's matches I've ever seen, and there's argument for it to be the best women's match I've ever seen. That was an absolute car accident from start to end. Couple of messed up spots. I can't think of her name that missed the rolling senton off the ropes and just railed her head on the ladder. But that looked rough.
You know, it's the ladder match. You're basically falling from 20 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet, something like that. No matter how
your body height, yeah.
Even if you take that, even if you take it perfectly, like you're landing on a ladder. You're still gonna hurt from it. It's a 20-foot drop.
Oh God! There was so many spots in that match where it was just, I literally a couple of times was holding my mouth like, oh my God, I can't believe I just watched this. Yeah, that one. Oh, that was brutal, and she bounced when she hit. Those are the worst. But it's like people talk, oh, well, they're stuntmen. Like, you go outside and learn to fall on a ladder. I want to see it. I'm good. I'll tell you that right now. I'm good on ladder falling.
Yeah, but here's what annoys me with, like, ladder matches and Money in the Bank matches. Here's what annoys me. Like, they can do all these high-pace spots, but the second it comes to climbing a ladder, they take 2.5 years.
Yep. It's scary up there, man. You ever climb a ladder on a 2x4? It's not fun.
I mean,
God, those shots are sweet, but the Prime logo still irks me. And I don't know if it's just because I'm of the older generation. At the same time, the advertisements in New Japan on the ring don't bother me at all. So I think it might just be my blind hatred for Prime because I don't like coconut water.
See, like, the energy drink cans, I'm good with, but just the bottles, no.
The Tiffany Stratton is over. It is absolute Tiffy time. Minnesota proud right there.
And
She's
I think
a local
they
for
proved
me.
that with the Money in the Bank match, that it is her time.
It is. And I thought this is the perfect way to launch her. I mean, that's the whole point of Money in the Bank, is to launch a career that needs a kickstart. She's got it going on. She's got the fans behind her. She's got a solid moveset. She has charisma for days. Let her go. Turn her loose. Let's see what we can do.
What title is she going to go for, though? Or what title
Got a year to find out.
do we want her to get?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, you go for the women's title, but do you go for the women's world champion or the WWE women's world champion? You know what I mean?
See, I don't think her going for Liv Morgan makes sense with the Rhea and Liv story. That doesn't make sense for me. Like, just
you wait till Rhea Ripley beats the bejesus out of her and then cash in at the end, kind of thing. But I almost feel like it'd be smarter to try to jump.
I mean, all I know is this. Never in my life have I wanted to be Dominic Mysterio more than him now.
I'll tell you this. Never in my life did I think I would utter the words, I kind of feel bad for Dominic Mysterio. It's because the kid's a dick. If I was Ray, I'd have beat that kid down. Or Eddie, I guess. I don't remember who won the ladder match. I think it was Ray, though.
It's like SummerSlam. Here's what I want for SummerSlam. Rhea versus Liv for the custody of Dom.
Oh God!
Bring it back.
Rhea versus Liv in a ladder match with fucking paternity papers up top. Hell yeah! Or the maternity papers.
Yeah.
Mommy in the bank, bro. Mommy in the bank. Pay me. You put that on. You can sell T-shirts right there. Mommy in the bank. God,
see, I'm surprised.
That would be good. That's a solid idea.
Like, they could have had so many different merch options, but the ones we wanted, they haven't brought out yet.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get there, though. I noticed a lot of them are starting to get a little more adult-based. I think once the USA deal is over and they finally do move to Netflix and they're off of that PG restriction, I do think we're going to see some different things. At the same time, I think we're going to see some different things.
What?
Different things. Damn. Goodness, Steve. Fucking wrong.
Are you good?
At the same time, people always talk about...
tripping out a little bit?
Am I the only one hearing Ron Simmons?
I mean, I can hear it, but I'm not tripping out.
I'm making sure, bro. Anytime you hear Ron Simmons, you better be scared. Damn. I heard plenty of stories. Ask Rocco Rock about... You ask Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge about Ron Simmons. Ask them what happens when you go up and be like, that's not going to work for me, brother. And they go, well, we'll take care of it. Don't worry. You're going through them tables whether you want to or not. That's one of my favorite old school wrestling stories. It's like, you're going to do business or we're going to make you do business.
It's like, do it on your own accord or do it our way.
Well, you don't walk into someone else's house and tell them how to run it. You don't, if I walked up to my boss and told her how to do her job, I would be looking for a new one. Why would it be any different anywhere else? You're the new guys in the locker room. You don't go up to the respected veterans and tell them what you're doing.
Exactly, and it just comes back to that locker room respect of, okay, you've been here 20 years, I've been here 2 years. The 2-year-old is going to tell the 20-year-old how to run shit. No, it don't work like that.
No, it don't work like that. Exactly. You don't. Yeah, the locker room respect issue is something I have come into contact with prior. I've had 95% of the shows I've worked, I have had absolutely amazing experiences. I worked one show, I'm not going to call out the promoter, nothing like that. But I worked one show where the promoter texted me the morning of the show and says, "So what's going on?" Because he had no idea what to do. And it's like, okay, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And then it is what it is.
But if the promoter doesn't know, if the promoter doesn't know what you're doing, you're a little bit clueless and you shouldn't be in that job role.
How do you do commentary without microphones or headsets? How do you do photography with dead cameras? Bro, you get it together, man. Get it together. But that's news for a different day.
So,
all right, moving on. All Ego Ethan Page, NXT champion. I didn't see it coming.
I don't think anyone saw it coming.
Well, I think Ethan has seen it coming for a long time. I think, I don't know if you watched TNA back in the day, but him and Josh Alexander, when they were the North, were one of my favorite tag teams. When he signed with AEW, there's a wrestling company in Minnesota called First Wrestling, and they did Fan Fest last year. And at that Fan Fest, they had Ethan Page there. And I got to talk with him, and for a guy named All Ego, he's actually quite humble and rather nice. But it's nice to see this dude finally getting his dues after being absolutely wasted in AEW. There's just something about their booking style that's not working for most people.
And unfortunately, that is the truth.
It is. There's no reason dudes like Lance Archer and dudes like Miro and God, I could go on for days, are just powerhouse Hobbs getting absolutely shafted because Tony don't know how to book a big man.
That's the thing, though, and I think the most recent AEW pay-per-view that I actually enjoyed was the one at Wembley.
No, don't get me wrong. I enjoy every AEW pay-per-view. My theory behind this is that Tony Khan grew up a tape trader. He didn't watch things in order. He just watched banger matches kind of thing. So that's what he puts on, is just banger matches. He doesn't, it's like Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson or whatever and Zack Sabre Jr. put on a banger. Then what? It didn't go anywhere. It was just matches for matches. And people you can't invest in something. It's, as much as I hate to quote Cornette, you see one little guy getting his ass kicked by one giant guy on the side of the road, you want to stop and see what happens. You have to keep that story going. You have to build sympathy for the babyface. You have to build heat on the heel. But you can't do that in 8 minutes.
That's the thing, though. AEW lacks their storytelling and their ability to tell that story of, okay, this has happened. Where do we go from here? Where do we see it going? AEW lacks that, without a doubt.
I don't think AEW has told a A+ story since Hangman and Kenny Omega. And I was at that Full Gear to watch Hangman win that shit, dude. That was amazing.
Nice.
Yes. Me and my best friend went and saw that. That was fantastic. One of the best wrestling shows I've ever seen. And I got to sit next to Izzy.
Not too bad then.
Not too bad. She's a riot. She actually is from a tiny little town, 30 minutes from my mom, who's also from a town that nobody's ever heard of in Florida. And as soon as I told her where, she's like, okay, now I know you're not lying, that you know where this is. Yeah, I got to drive through it to get to my mom's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. She was very nice. Very, very cool. It's nice to see her down there at Mission Pro tearing it up. These lifelong fans getting into the business.
That's the thing though, that's the thing, like, people need to be those fans to even think about doing the job. If you are not a fan of the sport, don't even think about trying it, because if you're not a fan...
You can't say that, though, because, like, Goldberg wasn't a wrestling fan. Don't get me wrong, Goldberg is not the greatest wrestler, but Goldberg definitely put asses in seats. I said Goldberg is not the greatest wrestler. Ask Bret Hart. I know. I'm telling you. But, yeah, for real, like, you don't have to be... Enzo Amore is a prime example. You don't have to be a good wrestler to be a draw. But you have to grow. You have to show some sort of passion. You have to show some sort of initiation to keep moving. You know what I mean? Not coast just because you got 5 minutes of fame because you can talk funny.
Exactly.
Which, that is why I respect MJF so much. Like, MJF could absolutely coast on his mic abilities, and this dude is out here just getting shredded. Putting the look on. Keeping kayfabe alive, man. He's like the last bastion. But when Undertaker got on Twitter, that was it.
It's like MJF is probably one of the most rounded competitors that at the minute for this generation we have, because he's got the look, he can wrestle, he knows how to tell a story, and the dude kills on a mic. Watch any of his promos.
Heel or face. Heel or face. He's a madman on the mic. He can get that crowd booing him to death or cheering, blowing windows out. It's insane. Him and Adam Cole got double clothesline over.
But his thing,
MJF is absolutely the future of professional wrestling. And dude's what, 25, 26?
Something like that, yeah.
Just young as hell.
But it's the thing, he's going to be going
scary when you see guys like that have it all put together that young.
That's the thing, though. With him being that young and in the position he is at the minute, with obviously how good his promos is, his storytelling, all of the above, there's no reason why he can't do this for like 20, 25 years on from now.
Yeah. Especially because he doesn't wrestle that car crash style. You don't see him jumping off of stages. You don't see him doing flips through tables. You don't see him dropping elbows from the top rope. He's very methodical, mat-based, old school, pick a body part and work it, set him up for my salt of the earth armbar.
Yep. And it's like the style of just jumping off of things and going through tables and diving off top ropes and jumping from like 30-foot heights. Like, I just call that the Jeff Hardy style.
Well, yeah, and I mean, people talk about, oh, Darby Allin's not going to make it 5 years. Darby Allin's not going to make it 5 years. That's what they said about Jeff Hardy in '97.
And look at it
now. It's still going. Well, I mean, maybe that's not the greatest example.
I mean,
both of them can barely walk, man. It's sad.
Hardy is literally a dying breed.
Yeah. For real.
He got into, I think he just got into the wrong crowd at certain points of his career, obviously with the drug tests and everything like that. Do we have to name that pay-per-view with AJ? Was it the one where AJ Styles literally bollocked him when he had that match?
Yeah, I was going to say, there was the Sting, yeah. What was it, Victory Road, 2011?
Yep.
Sounds right. Yeah, dude, I remember watching some shoot interview on YouTube with Eric Bischoff on that, and it was just like, I wasn't even supposed to be out there. I just didn't know what else to do. Like, we couldn't let him perform. Whoever let him go out there got fired, kind of thing. Like, what are... I remember watching that, and as soon as he came out, I was like, oh, no.
And it's
Oh
like,
no!
yeah,
When the crowd starts chanting, "This is bullshit," and Sting's like, "Yeah, I agree."
that's when you know shit went downhill really quick.
Yep. Yep. All right, now we get to my second favorite topic of the night. What do you think of the Wyatt Six?
See, I've
Sting was
seen
absolutely as professional as
clips
they
of
got
it,
during that.
and the first thing I think is I feel sorry for Chad fucking Gable. Like,
Why? He came back from the dead within a week. That's a sick picture. I am happy to see them doing something with Dexter Loomis. I've liked that dude since he was
needed
Michelle.
something to solidify him.
Yeah. And Nikki Cross is going to be the perfect Sister Abigail. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not super familiar with Joe Gacy. I've just seen his annoying work in NXT. I've actually worked with Rowan a couple of times. Oh, Eric Rowan. Good dude. Monster team. Does not do that guy justice. I think if they can keep them for quote unquote, lack of a better term, Undertaker and Kane protected, this might work, but you can't do it for a whole group.
But I'll say this: Bo Dallas is definitely the right person to lead it.
Absolutely.
Without a shadow of a fucking doubt.
It shouldn't and couldn't be anyone else.
Yeah, just because obviously his real life connection with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
It makes sense to have him lead the Wyatt Six.
Yeah. It does. And I like I don't know if you've noticed it, but everyone has a red circle on their outfit. That's a nice touch.
Tribute to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
But like it's a shame Alexa Bliss isn't with WWE because she would have been a good Sister Abigail. Because obviously The Fiend and Alexa Bliss had that storyline for a while as well.
Yeah. When Bray Wyatt was in NXT, he was already describing The Fiend, right?
Yep.
There's like a NXT My Ghost Stories kind of thing. Except The Fiend was 7 feet tall.
People who haven't seen that Bray Wyatt documentary need to see it.
Oh, dude. For 20 years, I said Beyond the Mat is the best, the best wrestling documentary I ever saw. And then I saw the Cody documentary. Then I saw Angle. I saw the Kurt Angle documentary. I went, oh my God. Like, that's the best one I ever saw. And the literal next thing I watched was the Cody documentary. I went, oh my God, that one's even better. And then the Bray documentary came, dude.
And then not long after the Bray documentary, we had, what was it? We had behind the scenes for WrestleMania 40. So, like, I was watching that probably, technically yesterday morning for me, but literally as I'm trying to actually be like, as I'm trying to stay awake and trying to realize, am I ill or am I just in bed because I can't be bothered to do anything? First thing I did was grab the TV remote. I was like, right, YouTube, WWE, behind the scenes of WrestleMania 40, because they've actually released that onto the WWE YouTube channel now. So I was like, right,
there's
now that
a lot of stuff on the WWE YouTube channel.
That's the thing though, like, they release a lot of those documentaries onto the WWE YouTube channel, but is that something that we can see going forward for when they move to Netflix, putting the documentaries on Netflix?
Oh, that'd be great. Because I like those. I don't know if you've watched any of the day of or WWE timeline, where it's like the year leading up to this, or what happened for the full day of this event. Those are really cool on the WWE Network. I like those, or Peacock here in America.
Yeah. But that's the thing though, with Peacock, like especially over my side of the water, unless you've got a really good VPN, you can't actually watch Peacock.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, but you guys have like the actual WWE network still, where we don't, unless you have a really good VPN.
Yeah.
Now, I do not advocate piracy, but ahoy!
A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
That's right. When you take 17 streaming services and you split them into different things, that's hard times, Daddy. When I can only watch 2 Matrix movies on Netflix, but I gotta subscribe to Hulu for the third, that's hard times.
It's like I've been using my VPN quite a lot, especially when I've been watching the New Japan stuff as well.
Bro. There's been stuff going down in Japan. So what do you think Vince's reaction to all of his wrestlers appearing in different promotions would be?
Shit, where's my money?
All I can think of is that meme. Like, Sir Triple H is letting AJ Styles appear in New Japan. Take me to the son of a bitch! Like,
that meme was just
so dude, there was so many good ones on that. But like, this is something I never thought I would see. Like, even when AEW started doing Forbidden Door and everything, I was like, I never thought we'd see WWE work with another promotion, let alone like they're doing with TNA.
Yeah, but
and maybe especially because it's TNA, I didn't see it happening.
But that puts the spotlight on TNA, as well as bring more for like the people that are just starting their career in NXT. That's boosting their career as well, because they get to work side by side with basically another roster.
Yeah. And it's not like TNA doesn't have talent and amazing trainers. And they get more reps. I mean, the only way you're ever going to get better in the ring is to be in the ring.
Yeah. It's literally just about drilling your shit, perfecting it, and then once you feel like you're at a level of, yes, I can do this without screwing it up, get me in that ring, and I'll show you what I've got.
Yeah. It's insane. I'm thoroughly happy to see it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, never in my life did I think I was going to see Jordynne Grace at the Royal Rumble with the TNA Women's title. But I guess we saw Mickie James with the TNA Women's title.
Yep. That's the thing, though.
But Mickie James was from WWE. Jordynne Grace wasn't.
That's the thing, though. Mickie James had a pass with WWE, so that kind of had more of a, okay, this makes sense. But let's be honest, everyone was popped when Jordynne Grace actually turned up.
Oh, thick mama pump. Top 5 greatest nicknames of all time, I swear to God. All right, so now we got to get to the biggest announcement of them all. And we all already know what it is. The Cena retirement tour. Do you have John Cena win World Title 17?
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm glad we agree on this.
If he gets Title 17, I guarantee Ric Flair's like, well, I actually held it 21 times. So keep trying.
Here's my theory on this. And I'm actually, even though he's got me blocked on Twitter, I do respect Bubba Ray. When he was talking about who is the greatest tag team in the history of the WWE. Dudley Boys. No. The New Day. They won the titles 11 times. Dudley Boys won more titles than anybody. They're the best tag team in history. The New Day is the best WWE tag team in history. When it comes to record books and things moving forward, who would you rather have as your winningest person of all time? Everything Ric Flair doing. Yes, I know Ric Flair is a 25-time world champion, but he didn't win them all in WWE is what I'm saying. Didn't win most of them in WWE, and I think 3 of them weren't official. But you give John Cena 17, which would break Ric Flair's record, and then he's the winningest WWE superstar of all time. You don't have to mention who's won the most world titles. You mention who's won the most WWE titles, and then it's no longer a tie. It's no longer he's tied with Ric Flair. They don't want to keep mentioning Ric Flair. The dude doesn't even work for him anymore. He works for a different company.
That's the thing, though. Like, Ric Flair doesn't work for them, but they will still kind of, on the slight basis of very slight acknowledgement.
Yeah, I guess he's not under contract, but still, he's not with WWE.
But they will still bring his name up.
Tarnishing his image.
But they'll still talk about his name when they talk about, like, obviously the 16-time title thing. They'll still drop his name here and there.
I mean, I guess I don't hear him mention Ric Flair much other than that. Unless they have to, kind of thing. You know, back when Evolution did this or whatever. They really don't mention Rick these days. They took him out of the intro and everything.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Like, they've taken Ric Flair out of quite a lot of things WWE related.
Can't take him out of my heart. Woo.
But going back to WWE and obviously Cena's retirement tour, he's going until the end of 2025. He's going to try and do January.
That's what he was saying. Yeah, he's got 40-some dates booked for 2025.
Do we see John Cena versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania in Vegas?
Bro. I had Cena and Punk in my head. I hadn't even thought of Cena and Randy. Jesus, I can't believe I didn't think of Cena and Randy. No, you don't have Cena and Randy at WrestleMania. You do Cena and Punk at WrestleMania, and you do Cena and Randy for the title for his last match. And then it turns into, does Cena win his 17th world title and then retire, or does he go out on a pinfall like his custom? But we were all cool with Sting winning. That's all I'm saying, because it's Sting. It's Cena, though. Does Cena get that Sting pass? That's an argument for a different time, I guess. Sting's been doing it 40 years.
Cena been doing it for 20. He's gone, what, like 38 years, something like that now?
Man, I think it's longer than that. I think Sting debuted in 81.
So, basically, to put this in perspective, Sting has been wrestling double of my life experience.
Yeah. Yeah, Sting's been wrestling 5 years longer than I've been alive. You know, like The Undertaker debuted on my 4th birthday and retired on my 34th birthday. Yeah, Sting's got 40 plus years. That's what I thought.
But that's the thing. Sting's got 40 plus.
Yeah, Sting's got 40. Well, Taker had 30 in WWE. He was in WCW and some other places before that, but I'm not positive for how long.
But that's the thing. Sting's got 40 plus. Taker's got 30. Jericho's coming up to 35.
Jerry Lawler's got 112. Someone told me, I read somewhere that Jerry Lawler is a 52-time world champion, but they're all like from the promotion that he books kind of thing. So they don't count.
You say he's a 52-time world champion, but R-Truth is technically the most champion.
Won any title the most times.
51-time, 24/7 title winner.
Multiple-time tag team title winner. Did he win the Intercontinental title, or was it a U.S. title back in the day? He's also the first African-American NWA champion, which still blows my mind.
But that's the thing, though. He's got, like, what, 60, I think it's like 65 titles he's got.
Something like that. It's ridiculous when you add it all. But do you really count 24/7 titles? Because by that case, like Crash Holly's in the top 10.
This is true.
And what I would have given for a Crash Holly versus R-Truth segment, bro. You give me them two in the ball pit with Lil Jimmy.
Okay.
3-way match. I'm done. You right? Book it. I don't care. Except Crash Holly's no longer with us, so we can't do that.
See,
I think Cena needs to lose his last match, but go in as the champion.
Yeah, that makes sense. But do we see Cena winning the Royal Rumble?
No. I think that's an awful idea.
In the Rumble, though. He's got to make an appearance.
Well, he said this is his last Rumble. He said 2025 is his last Rumble. Rumble's the first pay-per-view of 2025. John Cena has won multiple Royal Rumbles. I can't see them tying him with Stone Cold the year he retires just to tie him for another record kind of thing. We could be wrong.
But here's the thing. Even if there's not a title on the... Like, if there's no title on the line for him at Mania, then he's got to win at Mania. Because if it's just a standard match and he loses, all we're going to hear is, this is bullshit.
Yeah, you can't, and I'm a staunch Cena hater, bro. You can't drop him at his last WrestleMania. He deserves better than that. I mean, as much as I hate to say it.
It's a shame he's going out. It really is.
It is. I mean, at the same time, it's good to see him able to go out on his own terms. It's not because he broke his neck. It's not because his knees snapped in half. It's not because he can't stand up anymore. He going out on his terms, and that's great. Same thing Rock did. Now Rock got to come back and do whatever. But it's always nice to see them dudes get to do it their way.
There's two other matches we could have at Mania. Cena versus Rock.
Part 3.
Or Cena versus Reigns.
I don't want to see Cena versus Roman, I'll be honest with you.
It's not the most favorite pick, but it's still going to be an opportunity.
Yeah, but I think I just think the Cena versus Reigns is overdone. It's too tropey, and at the same time, with Reigns will be probably on the upswing again. Then what? You can't job him up to Cena at Mania, and you can't have Cena lose at Mania either. That's the hard part. Like, if Cena wins the Royal Rumble, it's a foregone conclusion he wins at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't see him doing that. I don't see them having him win the Royal Rumble and then lose at WrestleMania for sure.
No, because then that just comes down to poor booking.
At the same time, it's like them shock values what keeps people coming back. Surprised Undertaker got me.
That's the thing that, like, Taker came back at Mania 40, but now we get Cena for an entire year where we can just enjoy Cena and still watch everything else.
I'm not going to lie. This is going to be the first time I actually get to sit back and just kind of let Cena do his thing. I've always been such a Cena hater. It's he's so overpushed and blah, 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 like he is. But at the same time, when you look at the roster around him at that point, who else was going to go? Like, Cena carried that company, and they rewarded him for it. It is what it is. You can't hate a guy for that.
Exactly.
And in all reality, I just hated Cena because my kid liked him. It was fun to rile him up.
Yeah. That also works too.
Oh, yeah. Big old box of Fruity Pebbles. Dude had some of the greatest got hit with some of the greatest catchphrases of all time, but he, as a person, they really don't get much better than John Cena. Granted, more Make-A-Wishes than anyone in history by I honestly don't think it'll ever be caught. And he ain't even done yet.
Exactly.
He's a good person. He's a good role model. Why would you not want that dude as going down in history as your most winningest champion?
That makes sense.
And this coming from a staunch John Cena hater.
See, we might convert you into a John Cena fan by the end of next year.
You have a better chance of converting me into a John Cena fan than a CM Punk fan, I'll tell you that right now. When CM Punk came out in Minneapolis when AEW was here, I swear to God, me and my wife are the only ones in the crowd booing. Oh, and my buddy Jason, but he was over on the other side. But yeah, it was, I just never been a fan of CM Punk. He's always come off as the entitled wiener. Like, I remember him in the midst of the 434-day run, talking about how he's being ignored and undershadowed, and he just always came off as a whiny bitch. And I am having fun with this show with Drew McIntyre, though.
Like, this version of Drew McIntyre is probably the best Drew McIntyre that we've seen. Just period. Yeah,
this when he carried him out to the ring after beating him down under the garage door, I was like, this is sick. I love it. It's that old school mouth shut, mow him down mode.
Exactly.
But then come out and cut a decent promo.
But that's the thing, though. He can cut decent promos. He can do the storyline.
Yeah.
And he's now involved in a massive storyline with Punk. And Rollins, technically.
And Rollins, yeah. And Priest. I mean, it's all revolving.
Speaking of Punk and Rollins, do we see that at WrestleMania?
Oh, that's what I was going to say, is we have to see Punk and Rollins.
Because that was meant to be the plan for WrestleMania 40 until Punk blew his tricep.
Punk blew his triceps, yeah. Which I did. I called that. I told my buddy he's going to get hurt in a Royal Rumble. CM Punk's made of glass, bro. Dude cannot stay healthy. He hasn't for the last few years. It's just, it is what it is. But you get older, you're a little more injury prone. He even said the whole time he was world champion in WWE before he was working hurt.
Yeah, but here's the bit that pisses me off with CM Punk, right? And this is a bit that makes people think, and it's like, well, you've actually got a point. When he was doing that straight edge society run, right?
Yeah.
He said, no drinking, no smoking, no drugs, but yet he spent most of his time in fucking rehab.
I don't know about that one. I'm pretty sure CM Punk is legitimately straight edge.
I mean,
I think you might be mistaken.
Is anyone really completely straight edge?
I know some people, bro. I know some people. Whether
it's few and far between. But you can get.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody has a vice somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't do it. Good Lord.
It's out of the question for me. Let's be honest. It's out of the question.
No.
It gets me out of bed in the morning when I'm sat there after a show or after a massive training session. I'm like, where is it? And it's normally right next to my bed, ready to go. The second I wake up, I'm like, okay, 10 minutes and I can get out of bed.
That was another thing I was thinking. I wonder how much the legalization and decriminalization of marijuana has changed the wrestling landscape in terms of recovery from injuries and things like you were just talking about, going to sleep at night. It's RVD said it best, man. Like Bubba Ray talk about, I'd rather have RVD hold me than Mark Henry sober. Have RVD hold me high. Like, that dude he had it.
I mean, I guarantee if you walk into the old ECW arena, you will still smell part of RVD.
God. Yeah, and you'll probably have your foot stuck to the floor and a spilled beer. And I do know one thing I learned working just my local indies there is you show up under the influence, they're going to slap the shit out of you in the locker room. Like, them dudes are putting their lives in your hands. Do not do that to them.
Wait until after the show.
Exactly. Wait for the after party to attend the safety meetings, fellas. Be safe out there. Be smart.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
If someone does it, then it's their choice to do what they do, whether it's obviously marijuana, whether it's the drink, whether it's
whatever it is.
But there are times and places of doing it. Like, you wouldn't see a champion go. Although saying that, you might actually.
I'm saying,
you wouldn't see a champion walk backstage,
95.
hit a couple of lines, have a quick smoke, and then go out to defend. You'd see them do it after. Because if they do it before,
Ric Flair wasn't doing bangers in the locker room. He was doing them after the match.
Yeah.
Spending more money on spilt liquor and bars across this world than you made in the last 10 years. We need to do a greatest talkers special.
We need to. We might actually need to do that in the next episode.
That might be a good idea. We'll have to discuss that.
Because we're running this, every 2 weeks now?
That's the plan, sir. That's the plan.
Now that we're back on track, we get to do this every 2 weeks. Which means every 2 weeks I have to force myself to stay up till like 3, 4 a.m. But it works.
The British time difference. You gotta love it.
I mean, to be fair, because I've been feeling proper just ill. Like, I'm actually surprised I managed to drag myself out of bed for this tonight. But I literally spent, I did Joe Monroe's show yesterday. So the second I got off there, I was in bed. And half an hour before we went live is when I woke back up. I was like, no, I'm spending the entire day in bed. I'm setting an alarm for 12:30, so it gives me an hour and a half to get sorted. And hope that I can maintain some sort of presence of, is he actually 100% here or is he not?
Well, we always have that question, sir. Well, I'm glad you managed to roll yourself out of bed for us. I couldn't have done this without you, that's for sure.
This is true. It has definitely been a pleasure to finally get back on an episode with you again, Saul.
Absolutely, Connor. It was great to see you again. Keep in mind, everybody, Mayhem Media's big weekend continues tomorrow with After the Dragon. For the one and only Connor Clarkson, I'm Saul Goode. Thank you for tuning into the Barricade, brought to you by Mayhem Media.